Hello, everyone. And just quick, like things to note before it gets started. First, this isn't gonna be like a super elaborate DDLC essay or anything. There's just my general thoughts and experiences and whatnot. Don't know how the editing is gonna go or anything. I think it's probably gonna be a huge mess, but I do have documents over here with all my basic thoughts and whatnot, the stuff I wanted to say. Also, I don't know if you can hear it, but outside the neighbors are cutting down trees or something. Ing, The mic might not pick up on that, but in case it does, that's why there's all that buzzing in the background. Can't exactly tell them to stop or anything. So, there's that. Okay, anyway. So, DDLC, it's turning 7 years old this year. And I wanted to do something for it because, no, it's a really important game that I really like, but I wasn't sure what exactly to do. You're like gonna see me reading a lot of this, Like I was gonna do some art, but I feel that kind of be low effort. Like not that art is low effort, but like my well, okay, already getting like I feel like my art isn't a better quality to like best contributes to the celebration and also I've done art like a bunch of times for DDLC anniversary, so I'd feel it kind of be low effort. There's also the idea of writing another DDLC fanfic story or doing a video on the game or a mod, but I'm still not up for doing another DDLC fanfic right now, especially just for this anniversary. Like, like I'll get more into it, but I'm just not there yet. And also, I don't really want to play the game again. I know I did that sixth anniversary replay through thing, but nowadays I'm not really a fan of it. I honestly am kind of tempted to just delete those videos or just let's private it. Yeah. Uh, I don't really want to do a mod either because the mods don't really do much for me anymore. Like I do want to try out the remake of Salvation because I played the original version, and I do want to check out the new version, but I don't know when I'm gonna do that. Uh, it's, yeah, but I asked Astral Agents, a good friend of mine or Umbra Agent, as he's known on AO3, about what I should do, like if he's got any ideas, and he was like, "Why not do a retrospective video that covers my experience with DDLC, my thoughts and feelings, what it means to me, how it impacted my life, stuff I like about the fan made stuff like art, music, etc." But and I honestly really like this idea. This is a really good idea. I like rambling about my thoughts and experiences and given the chance, and I have plenty to say about DDLC and everything that relates to it. And yeah, it probably would be better to save this for the 10th anniversary, but that's like 3 years away. I don't know how long I'm going to stay laser focused on this game, especially since there's been no new official content aside from merch and art. And the fan base is a hot mess, to put it lightly. So, hey, now's a good time as any to talk about why I care about this mentally scarring visual novel so much. But again, expect me to be incredibly disorganized with my thoughts and everything, such as natural when a high functioning autist gets to talk one's ears off about the things they love. Yeah, you can definitely tell. No, I'm reading off a script because A, you can see the script, and B, don't sound as spastic. Yeah, so anyway, with that out of the way, here are my experience with Doki Doki Literature Club. I might just put some art and music and other stuff in the editing process so that you either won't see the script or it'll add more pizzazz. I don't know. No, I haven't got to that point yet right now. It's just a day before the 7th anniversary. So sadly, I won't be able to post this on that day because I'm probably going to do a lot of editing. Anyway, part one, join the literature club. Basically, how I got into the game. So all the way back to September 2017, I was just starting high school. Well, around that time, I was like 14, and I don't exactly remember all the details back then because it's been almost 6 years. Jesus fuck. More like 7 years. Yeah, 7 years. Years. So, I'm even back then. I was still spending a lot of time on the internet. Still am now. So I knew about all kinds of viral trends and stuff. FNAF, Undertale, memes, names, YouTubers, the works, and around September, of course, I heard about this one game named about a certain free to play visual novel that disguises itself as a cutesy dating sim, only to take your brain and inject it full of fear and psychological scarring. That game was, of course, Doki Doki Literature Club, or DDLC for short. I don't remember exactly how I found out about the game. The most I can remember was watching some guy's video and seeing some girl with a bow on her head fucking hang herself as the world around her became a glitchy, crumbly mess. Yeah, it's a great first impression. But then again, I was already super into Five Nights at Freddy's and Undertale and a few other things that also like to screw around people's heads. And I already saw some videos on visual novel games like Katawa Shoujo and Sakura Spirit. Shout out to Lost Pause. He did a bunch of visual novel games back then. But at the time, I wasn't really super interested in visual novels at the time, since that just wasn't the type of game I was interested in. If I wanted to read a story, I'd grab a book or something. And from what I saw, most of these are just horny love simulators. And even as a hormonal teen or whatever, I didn't really care much for those. But of course, I changed my mind on this over time as I played both DDLC and a bunch and stuff like Katawa Shoujo. No, should get back to that game at some point. Anyway, me, despite the horrific sight and saw on my phone, computer, or whatever I was watching a video on, I had thought the game looked pretty interesting. So I ended up spoiling myself rotten. Yeah, not a great move. I really should have played the game blind, because that would have been far more interesting. But I still found it interesting. I'm here talking about it, so definitely ranks some sort of chord with me. Like the idea of a dating sim where one of the girls is self-aware and tries to reach out to you by changing the game's coding, which actually caused everything and everyone to die in a creepy fashion. Certainly, interesting idea for a visual novel. Well, and I pretty much saw everything: the story, all the routes, deep dives into characters, secret poems, secret endings, etc. Uh, but I didn't end up playing the game until December of 2017, despite it being free. I don't know why either. But I definitely talked about it with friends and teachers at my school, along with family, especially my best friend who also kind of got into it. Eventually, I did play the game myself, as stated, and went for the secret ending where you do all the routes in Act 1. I get all the CG scenes to get the secret ending with Dan Salvato. I just noticed the mic. It was over my headphone cords. Where it's like I'm pretty sure at the time I was already a Siri fan, so I didn't want to do the normal ending. I actually didn't bother with that until DDLC Plus for achievements and unlockable stuff. 100% completion. But yeah, as you can tell, I don't have a good memory for this kind of stuff because I don't remember what it was like playing the game for the first time. The crazy shit that happened to it. I mean, I could certainly look it up right now, but you really want to just look at a bunch of photos or whatever as I just scroll to my phone. But I definitely enjoyed it enough to keep playing it over and over while also doing a crapload of other things relating to it. So let's get to that part. So another hyperfixation part two. You know, much like Sonic the Hedgehog and Undertale and a few other things, I just couldn't shut up about this game. And by the time of 2018, I talked to anyone I could about this game and encouraged them to play it themselves. I mean. Mainly to just get a laugh at their reactions, but also to see what I saw and get their thoughts on it. Because that's a thing I like doing. See, seeing what people say about certain things that I'm into. Maybe I'll disagree, maybe I'll agree. It's interesting, like seeing what other people think of everything. Yeah, and eventually I found the DDLC subreddit, and started looking at some of their posts on like the other fan stuff on stuff like Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube, etc. I remember watching a bunch of mod videos from those as well. Like Bijou Mike, he did some DDLC videos. The Bike, quite infamously, did stuff like a month with Natsuki, and I've watched other people like Spaghetto. Well, they just link a whole bunch of them in the description. And I also watch reaction videos because why wouldn't I want to watch a bunch of people shit their pants over scary anime waifus? This eventually led to me joining Reddit for the sole purpose of interacting with the DDLC subreddit, either through comments or posts. June 21st, 2018, the birth of Striving Jarl, or Jarl. That was at the end of my freshman year, or sophomore, I don't. It was probably freshman, but I don't remember. But I certainly feel old thinking back on that. Jesus fuck. Regardless, I had some fun messing around there and talking to people. Sometimes I still do. Oh, whoops. I say I need to take a drink. So, in addition, I played some DDLC mods as well. My first was the Interview Club demo by Hali Babika. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I remember enjoying it. Like back then, it only had like Monica, Siri, and Natsuki's questions and answers. I eventually played the full version once that came out. I also played stuff like Exit Music, Coldest Summer, Salvation, Fruits of Literature Club, Manga After Story, Thought Club, Blue Skies, and plenty more. Some I really liked, some I didn't, some I completed, some I didn't. And it's certainly interesting. And for a while, it was quite the experience. Definitely saw a lot of fan art, fanfics, animation songs, whatever I could find. I, I'm going to mention some of them that stick out to me. I'm going to put the art and stuff here. I'm going to link in the description with credit. It, it, yeah. Anyway, first is Rayon art or Ryon art. Or they make really good DDLC art. Just so clean and colorful. Oh, and also perfectly encapsulating the characters. They're probably one of my favorite DDLC artists, if not my number one favorite. It, yeah, it just looks so clean and good. I also want to mention Nico X Black, a more recent one. And they also have a really good and expressive style. My favorite drawing is Super Siri, obviously a Sonic the Hedgehog reference, and it just looks so cool. And then there's RKGKEF or I don't know how you pronounce that, but they have really good art too. I love their MC Yori art. My favorite is absolutely MC and Sarah with their little daughter and everything. It's just so cute. It is so wholesome. This is canon. You cannot convince me otherwise. I also want to bring up someone else, Gaz Hori, but sadly the Reddit account has been deleted. I don't know if it was their choice or if Reddit did something. I don't know. I don't know what other social media to use, so linking them in the description is going to be tricky or whatever. Like maybe I'll find something, or maybe the viewer, if you know something, you can put in the comment section. I'll put it in there or whatever. I don't know. But I do love their DDLC art. It's so stylistic and expressive and cool and cute. If I could have an entire DDLC story illustrating this style, I absolutely would. It's just so good. Next is Ayakchi art. How do you pronounce that? Another artist that doesn't seem to be on Reddit anymore, but I also love their art style. It's like the equivalent of a big warm marshmallow. If it was a pill, I'd have the best nap of my life. I love her Onigirika series. Wish I had the money for that. Get that plushie though. It's just so cute. Oh yeah, fun fact. I had to look at some drawings I made of those last two in order to remember their names for this. Like when I was typing this down, I was like, who are these two? And then it's like, oh wait, I redrew their drawings in an art book like I had, and I put their names in there so I can, yeah, good smart thinking. All right, now I want to talk about some animations. First, there's Quirksies. They have some really fun DDLC animations, and their recent ones now have full voice acting, which adds on to the story and humor. Really enjoy those ones. And I think the two that stick out to me the most about Quirksies are, well, there's also his anime openings, which use Nisekoi. Not Nisekoi. I keep getting Nisekoi and Nichijou mixed up, but Nichijou is the comedy one. On like they did an opening with the two songs from that show, and it's pretty good. Keep going back to those. I also like their Q&A video along with the Go Back in Time one, which is reference to Steins Gate. You need to watch that series. Anyway, there's also Wotme's. What are these? What are these names? Yeah, they have some really fun and entertaining DDLC animations too. New our save file has been deleted. Is a mystery or not OTP? Yandere Slice, Siri Quest. I pretty much like all of them. My favorite's probably Siri Quest. Just fun. And then Megui, they're not DDLC focused, but they did make some Sayonaka Netsuri ship videos with musical numbers. There's my favorites being the Stingray song, which I come back to sometimes and even sing, and Do You Love Me Too? Ooh. Then some miscellaneous ones, not just us. Like some of these don't just do DLC content; they also do a bunch of other content, like Ebro's animations. Amy Richu did some DDLC animations, different songs. Hinaten has good ones. Heart, just art, heart. That's how it looks to me. It's got some fun ones too. Those are pretty much all the ones I wanted to mention. There's probably more out there that I didn't mention. So hey, you can talk about them in the description or comment section or whatever. All right, next songs. Obviously, you gotta talk about Doki Doki Forever by Orthrio and Friends. That one's an obvious jam. Also love the Just Monica musical by Random Encounters. Like, for those who've seen my DDLC with Mom playthrough, you'd know that in the final video for DDLC Plus, I did an entire storyboard of the Just Monica musical, whole in whole, and that was fun to do. I still have the papers now. It took a while to make those. I had to keep pausing and in order to get each scene and words down. It was fun. Then there's Stupendium's Why Did I Say Okie Dokie? That's a jam. I like singing that. I walk to school with my best friend. Surprise, surprise, she's late again. Then there's Orthrio's cover, Can't Help Falling in Love with You. That was really beautiful. There's also Virus by Mando Pony. That one's good. Those are pretty much all the ones that stuck out the most to me. I did watch other ones, but. And then finally, fanfics. First, there's Tactical Cupcakes. They made a lot of good ones. My favorite is definitely Stale Cupcakes, the Nads Cube focused one. There's also Emerald Eyes, which is also really good, manga focused. And then there's Frail Cupcakes, which is a sequel to Stale Cupcakes. That one's also really good. Yeah, this next one sounds a little strange by its title, but it's Stans Joins the Literature Club by Ikedude on fanfiction.net. That one's actually pretty well written, but sadly it's been on hiatus for a while now, so probably not getting any new chapters anytime soon. But I like for it to get new chapters soon. I'd like to see where the rest of that goes. And there's another one that this one I didn't finish. It's love.chr by Crimson A377 on fanfiction.net. It's the standard player gets transported in a DDLC story. But from what I remember, the protag was actually an interesting character, and there's actually some cool conflict thrown in there. I can't say much about it, but I do recommend reading it yourself, and I should probably go back to reading that at some point. Then for like custom dialogue stuff, there's let's see, hold on. Sorry, I burped. There's Post Game Antics by Smear Glexty. There's After Siri by Erlish Nick. The Wholesome MCX series by Prismatic Monolith. And then the Wholesome MCX Next Key series by Twit_4 or TWT_4. I don't know how you pronounce that. Also got to mention the Tsundere, which is his newspaper or thing. Yeah, see, got all those people named and linked in the description. See, who else am I forgetting? Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't forget. How could I forget? Part 3, my own reality. I reject your reality and substitute it with my own. Yeah, so again, my memory is kind of shoddy when I'm thinking about stuff this far back. But basically, when I was talking to my friends in high school about DDLC stuff, a topic came up. What will we be like as actual characters within that game's world? Like how to react and everything, whatever issues be, all that. And yeah, I talked about it in a fun facts and trivia post. But basically, he this led to me coming up with some ideas for what that could be like. And thus, the very first character biographies of my first DDLC OCs were born. Izuki, Toma, and Ami. He, he, yeah, if it's not blocked, you can see the photos here. They're like these aren't. I'm pretty sure these aren't the very first ones, but these are basically what they look like. Like, yeah, interesting looking back on all this. This, yeah, like Azuki was based off of me, Ami was based off my best friend, and Toma was based off a senior student that we were friends with. Like, yeah, I was pretty silly putting in these self-insert OCs, but it had its own fun, charm and fun to it. It, like, basically, like, okay, I'm mixed up. Yeah, like eventually I decided to explore these concepts more and more, like their issues, who they date, their designs, and much more. I especially came up with a lot of arts of these characters during free time at school or home, home. Like I had the idea, like there's this old idea I had. I talked about it in a post. Post. Let's see. Yeah, like originally I had this idea for a story called Doki New Challengers, and that's where these OCs would come in. And like these characters was like the original story. He he basically after every after everything is deleted in the original DDLC, he everything's restored and given some add-ons, which includes Azuki, Itoma, and Ami, who I renamed to Aiko because I didn't want him to be confused with Amy, the other OC. He, he, and basically they'd act as a way of giving the other girls someone to spend their time and love on when the player is focusing on a specific girl. Like if the player goes for Sierra, the other characters will keep the other girls busy. But when it came to Zuki, I happened to go aware route. Happened to go to self-aware routes. That's what I meant to say. But not in terms of being the club presidents. Rather, Izuki and also Aiko and Toma to an extent act as sort of defense of the game's code and scripts that Maka won't screw everything up again. And the Izuki in particular is hell-bound keeping Maka in her place and making sure everyone's happy. Maybe even too happy. Yeah, like it. What looking back on now was an interesting concept, but I felt like it was kind of too cliche and whatnot. So I went for a slice of life storyline later on. On I don't plan on doing anything of this concept right now, but it would be interesting to explore how these characters would act in the original game situation. And, and yeah, like eventually around August of 2019, I posted some refined biographies of these three on Reddit. It's it's like that's when I first showed them off to the world. Well, yeah. So yeah, and that eventually led to an idea I got. Why not write an actual story of these characters? I already enjoy writing, like in English, my English classes. I'm always daydreaming different scenarios with fictional characters. So how about I take these concepts and put them onto paper? Or rather, Google Docs, because writing this much on paper would break my hands. Yeah, I wasn't the most confident in doing this at the time, but I figured I'd give it a shot anyways. And so on March 10th, 2020, I posted my very first chapter of Doki Magenta Splashes. It's a standard high school story about Natsuki and the Izuki OC, who grows people and eventually become a couple. 25 chapters and 7 bonus chapters. Didn't really get too much attention at the time, and honestly, I don't really want to reread any of it. You know, the old feeling of looking back on your old work and realizing just how cringe you were. But hey, it was a good start. Sometimes you gotta walk before you can run. And I did get someone who really liked it, Assman12585. I've really liked that someone was commenting on my stories and actually enjoying them. That was greatly appreciated. It, and that was really rewarding, getting attention for something you put a lot of work and heart into. Like, sure, having more people comment about everything would be nice, but beggars can't be choosers. You gotta build this stuff up over time. You don't just immediately get famous. You gotta work for it. Yeah, and so with this greater confidence, I continue to do a little more writing with these characters in my personal time. And I even came up with ideas for original works, which I still haven't shared publicly to this day. I did try to do some more DDLC fanfics that were connected to Magenta Splashes, or DDMS for short, like Doki Doki Broken Sunshine, which focused on Siri and Aiko. Oh, I also had ones for Yuri and Monica, but sadly I lost the motivation and interest to do all of those. I did post 6 chapters of Broken Sunshine, but I stopped. Yeah, just was not feeling it. Yeah. And eventually I was like, maybe I could do a better DDMS because I have more experience and knowledge in writing. Thing. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And thus, Doki Doki Magenta Affinity, he was born. Basically, the Street Fighter 2 to Magenta Splashes Street Fighter 1. Like, sure, the first one may have started the series and got respected in some form, but the second one's what really made something to remember, you know? Yeah, no, this one I had much bigger plans for it. It's still focused mainly on Azuki and Natsuki's blossoming relationship, but there'd be more to it now. Like side stories focusing on the rest of the Literature Club in order to give more spotlight and developments. There's prologue stories showing key moments of Azuki and Natsuki's past and how it became who they are to start the main story. You got character profiles to not only show proper designs for the cast, but also give a lot of information about them, like their interests, personalities, fun facts, etc. And also helps the readers better figure out who's who, since there's no pictures in the chapters, and I wasn't the best with environmental descriptions either. Yeah, I did use Gotcha Life and stuff to come up with character designs. It's like I know people don't like Gotcha Life because all the cringe videos about it, but it's good for coming up with designs at least. Yes, that's pretty much the only reason why I use it. Yeah, there's also an epilogue showing what the characters are up to after high school, how they continue to grow and develop. There's multiple ways to read through the story, like those different, like you want to read everything, just want to read the main story, you want to read in the timelines order, like multiple ways to go about it so that the readers won't be confused on how they should go about it. That was mainly for my mom because she was having trouble trying to read through everything at the time, but I did make that and whatnot. Yeah, and there's also a full timeline event that spans multiple years. Each chapter has a specific date to it. Yeah. Yeah, that is a lot. Like 122 total chapters and 2,106 pages to be exact. Yes, I did count all of that out of curiosity. I did all of that with pure passion. I want to make a good, entertaining story for people to enjoy. That's all that I wanted to do with it. It certainly got more attention than DDMS did, which just gave me more reason to write and made me more happy. I honestly, I did really love writing DDMA. Like thinking back on when I was writing all that story, it just feels nostalgic. It's just like looking back on such an important part of my life. I've it also helped that DDLC Plus was coming out around this time, which further helped my motivation and passion. But I'll get to that game later. The time was finally, yeah, by the time was, what I'm trying to say, yeah, I was done with the series in like February 2023. And yes, that was just a year and a half ago. Jesus fuck. Like, I thought it was like a year more, or, uh, but yeah, by the time I was finally done with the series, I felt like it really accomplished something. It really felt good. Like, I have absolutely no regrets with Magenta Affinity. Like, yeah, there's some things I could have done better, but you know, nothing's perfect. Sometimes you just gotta deal with it. Yeah, you can learn from it. This fanfic was also what led to Astral Agent, or just Astral as I call him chatting with me, and that's how we became friends. And it's like we read each other's respective fanfics, and that's how we grew to chatting on Reddit and then eventually Discord. And we still chat to this day. And he's been a great support in my writing and personal life. And he's certainly an interesting guy at points, but he's also a good friend. And I really appreciate having him. Like, I'm not always the best with sharing my personal feelings and whatnot, like being more open about how I feel about certain people. But yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah. He also wrote a lot of DDLC fan fiction. Like, he did stuff before I started Magenta Splashes, like Happily Never After. I remember that one. And, like, back then, I wasn't. It was kind of a little intense for me, and he eventually just deleted all that. Then he came back with The Taste of Sunshine and Rivals, which are good stories. Like, he later on he had issues with them and whatnot, but I still enjoy them. He also later, after that, he wrote Our Last Summer, which sadly isn't finished, and he doesn't have any plans on finishing it. But it was pretty good. I really enjoyed that one, and he even put in his own version of Azuki. Like, he agreed to like sort of share characters between each other for fanfics. Nix, I gave him permission to use my characters, and he gave me permission to use his characters. And sadly, I haven't gone around to using his for anything yet. Did have plans, but I'll get to that in a moment. And yeah, like, not perfect, but I find them really good reads. He's a really talented writer. And do go check out his stories in AO3. I'm sure you won't regret it. And you can also check out mine if you're interested. I'm not going to pressure you or anything. I'm not your mom. But it would be nice. Nice. Yeah, that was certainly a lot to cover, but you get the gist of it now. Making Magenta Affinity was one of the best decisions I ever made. It helped me discover my love for writing stories, and I want to continue doing it. Maybe even as an actual job. If that ever happened, my life would basically be perfect, or at least getting close to perfect. Like, the idea of being able to make all these amazing stories for a living, and also like maybe even getting professionals and whatnot to to, to elevate them to new heights, like animation, voice acting, music, all that. That that would be the dream. Like, I can't really do that now because I don't have the skills or the money for it. But sometimes all you need to write a good story is just a piece of paper, a pencil, and your imagination. Or in my case, a laptop in my imagination. Yeah, like, anyways, with Magenta DDMA's success, I started getting even more ideas for DDLC fanfics, like mainly what if stories for DDMA that changed something. Like, for example, what if Natsuki and Suzuki were childhood friends? Or what if Astral's characters from his DDLC fanfics were in Magenta the Splashes or whatever. I even had the idea of like doing a multiverse travel story with the different what ifs. Like, that didn't happen at all, but it was certainly interesting to think about. Interesting to think about. But I only ended up doing one on of those stories. So not long after Magenta Infinity's completion and after getting an AO3 account, because Ashel recommended it, it's definitely AO3 is a good site. I don't really read much on there because I don't want to like see too many people's ideas and whatnot, and might end up no accidentally putting stuff in. Yeah, you know how it is. Like like trying to make sure my inspiration is nice and clean. I mean, like I sometimes give recommendations, I check them out. But anyways, I got an AO3 account and I was fired up by DDMA's completion, and the attention it got. So I immediately started working on the Sins of Our Fathers, a DDMA what if story. Like this is the one where Doki is an abusive monster, and I explore how that changed the events of DDMA. I definitely had some ideas in mind for this one. Yeah, then in March of 2023, I began to post everything on Reddit and AO3, all 20 chapters. Like, I got pretty skilled with writing by this point, and Ashley's advice did help me get better at this stuff. Like, I did environmental descriptions, which was kind of lacking in Magenta Affinity. Definitely think that helped a bunch. Like, I do think it's kind of tedious having to describe environments and whatnot, but it is a necessary evil in my eyes. Nice. You gotta have a sense of what the scene looks like in your mind. If there's like no pictures or anything to show it. Yeah, so I felt pretty confident in this one, but while it was still well received, I started to see some issues being pointed out, mainly because of Astral. He certainly has some complaints. You can check them out in AO3. I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Like how I wrote certain characters and events just to get the plot I wanted, and that I didn't do thorough enough research. Like there was this one big event I had in mind. I just kind of twisted everything to get to that, and kind of just made the characters come off as kind of stupid and or kind of assholes. Well, like this did kind of sour my mood a little, but I don't regret making Desuf, as I call it for short. Like, yeah, I did make some mistakes, but it had some good moments. Not everything I write is gonna be a 10 out of 10, and like as much as my perfectionism wants me to, I can't strike a home run each time. Magenta Finish certainly wasn't like that at points. Like, there are some things I wish I did better there. I'm not gonna try and redo all that. See, yeah, uh, yeah. Anyway, so I did think about doing a rewrite of the story, The Best of Me. Me, me. Yeah, I had shared some ideas with Astral, but I ended up scrapping that one after just working on the second chapter because I was getting really tired of it because I want to do other things. I was kind of burned out from DLC writing. And I kind of felt like I was just doing this to please Astral, which I hated. So I just decided to scrap it. I talk about it more in my Sonic 1 8-bit video. You know? So if you want to know more, you can check that out. Now, but yeah, I, I'm not. I'm probably never going back to that one, or maybe I will. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. Yeah, so then I got the idea to write a Yakuza DDLC story, like not like the Sega games or whatever, just like the real life Japanese mafia. Uh, like I told my mom and Astral about, it, and they were both like, "Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. You should totally do that." And so I did come up with a lot of concepts and ideas for that. Uh, I also did a great amount of research, like online. I also watched a bunch of Yakuza movies and shows. It it was, yeah, it was really interesting. And, like I had so much planned, and like it was gonna be like writing for a whole television series, basically. He, like I go more into detail in my Undertale Genocide Part 2 video. No, but yeah, but sadly I kind of lost motivation and interest for that one too. And that really sucked because I'd love to get back to that one, but I don't know if I'm ready for it yet. Like I can always go back to it when I feel like it, but I don't know if I'm ready if I feel that way yet. Because for all I know, I might just drop it again, and I also don't want to do it when I don't feel super inspired, because otherwise it's gonna turn out like crap. And I don't want it to be crappy. I want it to be good. Yeah, so after that, I decided maybe I should try crossover DDLC fanfics instead. Maybe that would be better for motivation. Like there, like the idea was like 4 fanfics for each of the 4 Dokis. Like Monica would be the focus of a Ben 10 crossover fanfic. Natsuki be an Undertale fanfic. Yuri have a Spider-Man fanfic, and Sarah would have a Sailor Moon fanfic. Like, these wouldn't be straight up crossovers with the characters. Like a universe where elements from the crossover universe would be put in there. Like for instance, Monica would wield the Omnitrix, Natsuki would have determination, Yuri would be bit by a radioactive spider, and Sarah would be a sailor scout, whatever. I still need to watch Sailor Moon. Dude, I did do some work on the Ben 10 one. I had some good ideas for that one too. Like I showed drawings of what I had in mind in I think the Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit videos. I did work on the first chapter and the second chapter, but I lost the motivation for that too. Same for the other ones, which had next to no work done on them. Like I did have the idea for the Natsuki Undertale one before this, 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 but I didn't do any chapters for that one, and the Sailor Moon Spider ones had pretty much nothing. So yeah, that really sucks because I think those would have been pretty fun, and I'd also like to get back to those ones at some point. Like after that, I just decided maybe I should just stop doing DDLC fanfics for now, since my interests are growing elsewhere. Like I was coming up with more ideas for original stories, and I also started writing Metallic's Uprising, Metal Sonic focused fanfic, which I'm really proud of so far. Or like I'm currently working on the Sonic Battle arc. I'm at like the 80 chapter mark. And I'm really proud of all the attention it's getting. Like obviously because it's Sonic and people there are a lot more Sonic fans than there are DDLC fans. Yeah, but I'm really proud of the attention it's getting and how well it's going. I really want to keep that momentum going. Yeah, like it's hard to write a story when you feel like no one's gonna care about it, and when you've lost so much passion and interest for it. It's like one day I want to make another DDLC story. I don't know if it's gonna be like one that I originally put on hiatus or scrapped, or it's gonna be an entirely new one. But right now, I don't think it's the time. If I'm gonna do it again, I want it to be special, something that I know for 100% certainty that me and the readers will love. I want it to be something really, really good. 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 So, yeah, I really did ramble a lot about this, but it's only natural since I'm so passionate about this. Yes. So, let's see. Let's move on to the next topic of discussion. Part 5 DDLC Plus, official merch, and other stuff. All right. Yeah, so when I heard that DDLC Plus was coming out, like an updated port on consoles and PC with extra content, I was really interested. And I was like, oh, what's this extra stuff going to be? Like, I was really interested in the side stories. He's, yeah, I got the game day one thanks to my sister lending me some money. And I played the hell out of it. I got all the achievements, I got the artwork, the music, the endings, the side stories, which I really loved. I got 100% completion. And yeah, that was pretty good. Like, actually, funny story is that when I was trying to get all of Monica's conversation topics, just as went to go take a shower or whatever. Or, yeah, it's a fun way to go about it. Yeah, like admittedly, I still prefer the original DDLC in terms of like its meta elements because you're actually interacting with its computer files, while in DDLC Plus is just a in-game desktop. I think it's still cool, but it's not as immersive. But I do love the side stories and the extra content. It was a really good addition. Kind of a shame we haven't gotten anything else after this, but I mean, DDLC doesn't really need a sequel. Like, sure, it could definitely make the fandom less crazy, to put it lightly. But like, what else can you do with these characters in the world without it just being redundant or a total cash grab? Uh, like, if Hollywood has taught me anything, is that unneeded and unwanted sequels don't go too well sometimes. Most of the time, almost all the time. And like, the fans have already made a crap ton of continuations of DDLC's story, so like, it'd be pointless to make an official one. Like, hell, I've done on a bunch of those myself, and I even have my own idea for a DDLC sequel. Well, and like, I'm sure Dan Salvato and everyone else have worked on the game just want to move on to other things. And I respect that. You just gotta keep keep the ship sailing. And you can't just spend and all your time and effort on one thing forever. Yeah. Let's talk about merch. I did get a good amount of it over the years. I sadly haven't gotten any clothes like this one series shirt with the flowers. That one looks really nice. I wish I had that one. And I do have the Good Smile Siri, Monica, and Natsuki plushes. The first two were Christmas gifts, and the third I bought myself when I got myself a credit card. But I didn't think about getting Yuri at the time, so I figured I'd get her later. And then the Good Smile plushies were discontinued later that year. Yeah, I was pretty upset about that. I still am. It also didn't help that I tried to win an official Yuri plush on an eBay auction or something. Like, somebody sent me the link for it, and I checked it out. And I was like laser focused on the bidding. But then some asshole bidded higher than me at the last second. Wherever you are, hope you enjoy that plushie, but I also hope you get punched in the face. Nice. I'm still annoyed about that. Like, I've mostly calmed down at this point, but it's still annoying. I also got the U2 and Siri Mr. Cow figurine. Like, I call it figurine because not like a figure. To me, a figure is like a posable little toy that you can move arms and legs around stuff. Uh, like, it's the Siri Mr. Cow figurines like from that fan art contest. It's like, wow, to ship it to me. But I like it. It. I also got the Nendoroid and Pop Up Parade series figures. I wanted the Nendoroid series so fucking badly. Like, the moment the pre-orders went up, I was just like, "Give me." And I also want to do the same for Good Smiles for the Pop Up series ones. But I was really anxious about the money stuff. But then when it's like limited supply, I was like, "I need it! I need it!" Yeah, I love them. Like, I actually have. See, I'm at my desk, so I can just pick it up right now. I have it in my hands right now. It's just so well detailed. I love the attention to detail in this Pop Up Parade figurine. Just so well made. 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 I get like the Monica, Yuri, and Natsuki ones if I could, but I don't have the money for it. 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 Oh yeah, there's also like that DDLC Requiem Cafe thing that's coming out soon, like tomorrow. I sadly I probably won't be able to attend it because I'm pretty sure it's not anywhere near. I don't think there's a location where I live. If if I do, and yeah, just it would be cool to visit, but I don't think it's in the cards. The menu is interesting though, even if it's just a bunch of drinks. I like series of little drinks. Yeah, I also want to fit in stuff that I couldn't fit into anything else here, like the DDLC Inktober 2021 challenge. I never did an Inktober challenge before this one, so it was a fun little exercise. And it's like coming up with art for all these prompts. Some of my favorites are like Mr. Cow, MC, Teacup, Mental Health Matters, Boo, Chibi, Restored Files, Trick or Treat, Cinnamon Bun, and Your Reality. Like, I enjoy all of them, but those are the ones that stuck out to me the most. I think my favorite was probably Mental Health Matters. That was a really nice one. And there's also this art collab Shatter Aurora did with a bunch of DDLC artists. Yes, I decided to join it for the hell of it. I did this piece called Magenta Epilogue. It was basically just the four grown-up girls from my fanfic Magenta Affinity with Azuki Mio in the background. Now, it was a nice piece. It's also part of the Discord server here for that as well. It was fun while it lasted, even though I didn't really interact with anyone on there much. Did do some Garlic phone, like that online game where you like draw stuff. It was nice. And of course, I did a crap load of art. Some I posted online, some I didn't. I still need to get better at art. Like, I need to practice more often, because how else am I going to get better? Like, I had the idea of doing like a web comic or something. Just popped into my mind recently. Got to seeing a Pinterest spin about it. I don't think I'm going to do one for DDLC though. I want to do an original story. Yeah, I also did that DDLC playthrough with my mom, who was mostly blind about everything. I think that was a fun time. I really enjoyed playing that game with her and seeing what she had to say about it. It was really interesting. Too bad the audio and video quality was shit. If I could like redo the quality on those, I would, but I can't. And I can't actually do that because my mom already knows everything. Like, what am I supposed to get one of those Men in Black my memory wipe things? Yeah, so I think I covered all my bases when it comes to DDLC, aside from the characters and story itself. Oh, so I'll get to that in the next part because I think we're going to take a short break. Like, don't want this part to be too long. Like, I'm probably just going to combine all this into one big video anyways. But still. Anyway. Hey, next time on the DDLC Retrospective. Okay, back from my snack break. I ate a cinnamon bun while my Siri merch watched. I truly am the lowest scum. Yeah, anyway, we're on to the next part, which is every aspect of Doki Doki Literature Club, or at least the aspects I want to talk about. Before I'll just split into sections. First is the story. It's an interesting concept, you know. Oh, everyday romance visual novel. Oh, but it subverts your expectations and tropes in order to, yeah, yeah. I'm already messing this up despite having the whole script here. Yeah, like, doing just a standard tropey visual novel, well, to lure you into a false sense of security, and then it starts to uh, just go off the rails and starts to fuck with you. It's a really interesting concept. I do like that. Right, you're just enjoying yourself. Now you see the standard ooh cutesy scenes, the standard dialogue, stereotypical anime girls. But then you learn that one of them is depressed. Yes, which starts to just makes you go like, oh, this is actually getting a little deeper. And then she fucking hangs herself the next day after you confess to as she confesses to you. And yeah, that's quite the fucking change in tone, to put it lightly. And now you're on edge and you're freaked out. And when one of the girls is erased from existence, the game's still going, you have no idea what will happen next. Oh, someone else might die, something horrific might happen. It just screws with you psychologically, and I love that. Like, I'm having difficulty putting my thoughts about this game story into words. Mainly because I just don't know how to describe it, what I felt when I first read this story. But I do know that it was captivating. You being stuck in some simulation, knowing you can never have the one thing you want, and having no way out of it. So you had to force your way out by any means necessary. Even like possibly killing those who were once your friends. Just having to uh, train yourself to think, no, they're just NPCs. It doesn't matter. Yet deep down, part of you does know it matters. Like, the characters are really great. Like, I'll get more into detail for each of them in their own sections, but I like that they start off like stereotypical anime girls, only to show that they have real problems and issues that anyone can relate to. You, 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 trying to think of my next words. And just seeing them break down more and more as the game just gets more and more as the game does. it just really adds on to that unease and gets you thinking about your own problems and how what you struggle with. And like the writing is also pretty top notch. Notch, like it leaves little hints and pieces to what's in store. And if you pay close enough attention, you start to figure out a few things, and then you're like, "Huh, what's that about?" Oh, and then once the crazy shit does happen, you're like, "Oh shit, yeah, this is something else." else, else. And while I'm here, I also want to talk about the side stories in DDLC Plus. As they may not have the psychological horror elements, but I still love the more slice of life character relationship stories here. Like, I really love the characters and seeing them not horrifically die in a version of this world is pretty nice, and seeing them grow as people and as a club is really nice. It reminds me of stuff like Kaon or Horimiya, where the main focus is the characters themselves and them growing thing, and how you might relate to that, you might sympathize with it or whatever. I just accidentally hit the mic. Like, the writing is really good. And I really enjoy it. It can be funny, it can be sweet, it can be sad, it can be scary. It really does work well. I do want to mention the lore too. Though personally, I don't really care about the lore as much as the main story shown off in the actual game. Like, Project Libitina is pretty cool lore, and while the VM metaverse lore, whatever, isn't quite as cool, and just like I get why people don't like it. I don't have any problems with it either. Like, it's serviceable, or but that's not what drew me to DDLC. Like, yeah, it's cool, but I I like DDLC because of the characters and the story, not what's hidden beneath the surface. Well, not you get what I'm saying. The lore isn't the end all be all for me. It's not like, say, FNAF, where it's very important and hard to decipher and whatnot. Yeah, so I think I've said all I needed to about the story. Yeah, yeah. Like, I'm not gonna, like, again, I'm not, this isn't a video essay, it's just me talking about my thoughts and feelings. I'm not the most deep thinker or whatever. Or, yeah, so let's go on to presentation. I really love this game's art style. Like, huge credit to Satchley and also everyone else who worked on the art style. It's just very colorful, very expressive, very well drawn. I love the character designs. They are really nice. I like the backgrounds and how it just messes up as the game goes on is great too. Like, the realistic eyes and mouths, messing up the colors, glitchy sprites. It makes things even more unsettling and scary. Yeah. Like, even so much as like inverted colors can just set this that's unease you and just make you on edge. And also the music Dan and friends made is really good too. Like, the main theme, Ohio Sayuri, Dreams of Love Literature. That's probably my favorite. I like Poem Panic, if only because it just sounds so chaotic and silly. My Feelings really sweet. My Confession's really sweet. Your Reality with Jillian Ashcraft as the vocals and voice of Monica is also a really bittersweet and nice song. And also special mention to two bonus tracks, which is is Doki Doki Japanese Words by Nikki Kailar and Poems of Forever by Shoji. Those two are bops as well. DLC Plus music is also really good too, with Dance of Auto, Jason Hayes, and Azuria Sky. I like My Song You Know, Peachy Pie, Lavender Mist, Just a Little Bit, Let's Teamwork, Hug Energy, Candy Hearts, and Dear Sunshine are some of my favorites. It's and also hearing these tracks and the sound effects getting messed up or creepy also adds the horror factor a lot too, and really helps with it. Yeah, like, I think one that immediately comes to mind is a possible little random event that happens in Act Two, where when you're talking about the festival, with Monica, Natsuki, and Yuri, the screen just gets all red and veiny, and it's muffled. And then you just hear the sounds of cracking and stuff. It's like, oh, what the fuck is this? This, like, it's supposed to simulate Siri hanging herself. Well, it's just like, All right, so I think I said all I wanted to about the presentation. And now for the real meat and potatoes. The one that made me so attached to this game, the characters. Characters are really great. Let's start with a very important character in the story. The obvious first choice to talk about, whose name you all know. It starts with an M. Please give a warm welcome to MC. What? I talk about it at some point. Yeah, I made this very dramatic. All right, MC, we're getting him out of the way right now. Now, MC, my dude, Maurice, he's whatever you want to call him. He's your standard anime protagonist. Pretty kind means well, but also the mental equivalent of a black hole. However, I still like him decently enough. Like, sure, he doesn't compare to the girls, but only because he was designed to be a bland protag. That's the point. Like, back when I was younger, I definitely got annoyed with some of MC's actions. Even now, I still do. Like, mainly how he handles serious depression. Like, however, but it's like, unlike his haters, I have a functional brain and knows not everyone can just understand a mental illness with zero trouble. Well, hell, I knew someone who was depressed, and I didn't know until he straight up told me. There's something they don't even understand about myself. No, the dude's just a guy who hasn't had much social interaction with his childhood friend. Ugh, messed it up. Like, the dude's just a guy who hasn't had much social interaction until his childhood friend forced him to join a club that only has 4 girls. Of course, he's not going to pick up on certain things or handle everything like some sort of perfect god. I sure as hell wouldn't do better. Neither would most of you chuckle fucks. And honestly, the guy suffered plenty too over the course of the game. And like, his best friend committed suicide, confessing her love to him and blamed himself for it, only for her to be erased from existence and no longer remember her. And then he was silenced more and more as Act 2 went on. And some more horrifying shit. Like, granted, he was probably losing consciousness during it, but still. Like, MC may not be a super complex character, but I feel like he gets a lot of mistreatment from the fan base. Like, yeah, sure, Dansei is an actual character. What be frickin' do? Like, I saw a post talking about how the whole MC is not a character thing. That's just Mr. Incredible. You say, shut up. Please shut the fuck up. And that's how I feel. Oh, so what if he's supposed, so what if Dansei's not supposed to be a character? Fucking who cares at this point? Like, get off your fucking high horse. Just let people see him however they want to. Sure, you can disagree, that's fine. But don't need to constantly push everything on that idea onto everyone. Just because the creator says it doesn't mean it always has to apply to everything. It's just, I'm so sick of this discussion being brought up all the time. I'm like, okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say about MC. He's a good character, even if he was designed to be bland. That's basically my point. Now, on to the next character that was actually given more to work with, which is Natsuki. Okay. All right, Natsuki, your tsundere stereotype. Like, I don't mind tsunderes, just but only when the character isn't an abusive asshole towards people, like Asuka. And Natsuki, thankfully, isn't an abusive asshole. Oh, I'm probably gonna ramble a lot from this point onwards, just like the rest of this video. No. Anyway, so like first Natsuki's design, I really like it. I do feel it's the most unique of the 4 girls. Like yeah, sure, or the pink hair, pink pigtail tsundere girl, real original. But just like I'm just saying, but more like it feels uniquely DDLC. Like there's something about it that feels like it could only exist in DDLC. Yeah. Like just the feeling I get from it. And the short, skinny body, the pink hair, the ponytails and red hair clip, the cute face. It all works well, both design and character wise. Plus, I do love her casual outfit, like the big floofy pink skirt. I really like that. And I do like her personality too. Like again, she's very Cinderella and she can be annoying at points, but it never goes overboard. Or like she never just gets like really fucking yelly or whatever and just starts abusing everyone on that kind of thing. And she never does any of that. And even when she does something wrong, most of the time she gets punished for it or she realizes her mistake and apologizes. As as I do like that. Yeah, I do like characters with some spunk and sass to them. Like it's fun seeing a character like just what the fuck, like the fuck you people talking about, y'all crazy, like that kind of thing. I just find that amusing. Thing. I also like how passionate she is about her interests and just how defensive she can be when someone pokes fun at her for it. And she doesn't like the things she loves being criticized or anything, or just being seen as lesser because of it. And also how when she's not being sour, she's actually really sweet and caring and genuinely he likes her friends and just is pretty defensive most of the time. I do like how she's actually pretty insecure deep down. She just keeps trying to convince herself and others that she's better than she is. Like in Natsuki's route in the original DDLC, like in the third poem shared, how Natsuki gets really upset and she just has asked MC to just please say he likes her poems, even if isn't how he actually feels. And that's really something intimate and important and sad. That like she has to just uh, make sure that she's better than she feels she is, or how other people feel she is. Is is yeah. I also like her interest in baking and manga, and like she's really good at baking. That's the one thing she takes the most pride in, and Mm. Also, that she just wants to be taken seriously. Like it sucks to not just be treated as a joke or as lesser, or or and just you have to find a way to change that. Uh, and that's it, yeah, just I'm having a lot of trouble trying to put this into words. Or it's like I want to see this girl get better. I want to see her develop and lower her walls a little. Find realize that she has people that take her seriously. That she is important. That she is cool in their eyes. It's nice. Although sadly, Natsuki does get shafted pretty bad in Act Two. Like, sure, maybe that was kind of the point, since she doesn't like being ignored, seen as unimportant, and her suffering from that in Act Two really adds on to her problems. But that also means there's less time for her to be more fleshed out and interesting. Like even Dan Savato admits that he wished he did more with Natsuki, and like that's pretty much only one issue with DDLC in general. Just that Natsuki should have gone a little more. Or and also another thing I like about each of the four girls in this game is that each of them have their own unique issues, who's who's in problems and demons to face. Like for Natsuki, it's an inadequacy and not being taken seriously, along with whatever's going on with her father. Like, yeah, it's probably child abuse, since she straight up says in Act Two that her father would beat the shit out of her. He he found her reading manga, but at the same time, that was Act Two where manga was editing everything to make Yuri seem worse, and also Natsuki. So that could just be an Act Two thing. Like maybe it's not as bad in Act One. Like maybe her father's just kind of really strict and neglectful or whatever. Like we don't know for sure. And that's something I would have liked some clarity on if Natsuki got more focus in the original game. Like regardless, this really does add on to Natsuki's character and explains why she's the way she is. Like why she's so small, she's malnourished. Yeah, she straight up like falls asleep on you at one point in Act Two until Manga gives her a protein bar, or how she just really angry and frustrated because she has to deal with her father's abuse, who's at home. That's why she values the literature club so much. It's her safe space. it's where she feels like she's not judged or 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 safe. If and that's why she gets so angry and offensive towards the other club members and the festival stuff. Uh, like it really does suck. Just just not have that comfort at your own home. Um, yeah, it is sad that she has to suffer from that. That yeah, and is going to get a little more personal. Well, like there are some aspects I relate to about all the girls. Well, like Natsuki, for example, I too can be a little defensive about my interests. Yes, it's uh, I like I got more better about this kind of stuff over time. And I am I recently did start doing therapy to help with these problems. But it did happen when happened at some point or another. I felt these things. Yeah, I can also be more irritating and rude than I intend to be. Sometimes I just get really annoyed, even though I really have no reason to be. And I too have issues with my father. Or like he never hit me or called me anything or whatever, but he was pretty neglectful. Oh, and wasn't exactly a good influence in my life. I've like at this point he's been long gone in my life now. Now, I've gone better. I don't need him. But that's, there are certain things that stick with you as you grow up, up. So yeah, yeah, I do, and also I sometimes feel like I'm inadequate, and how I struggle to be honest about my more serious and intimate feelings. Like I know I'm important to my loved ones. Like of course I am. I realize that if I disappeared at any point, they would miss me. I recognize that, but sometimes just can't help but feel that way. Hey, like, like a big part of what I'm going to be doing with this therapy is trying to be more independent so that I can look out for myself and help my family because they've done so much for me, and I feel like I should be doing more for them. Um, like I could go more into detail in this for the series section, but that's the basic gist. Yes, and I'm sure Natsuki's felt similar things herself. Often struggles to be. I know she's definitely struggled to be honest about her more intimate feelings. Like it sucks to be like it's hard to be open with people, especially those that especially when and those that you think you should be close to just hurt you in some way. They they and and when you do find someone that seems that way, it feels so relieving. And, and yeah, so mm, yeah, and sometimes we need to be told that it's okay to be vulnerable. Oh, sure, I don't like being vulnerable, but I kind of have to. And Natsuki's the same way, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty, like, that kind of works in the side stories. He's, he's where Natsuki is much better here. Here, I do like that she's more chill and friendly. Probably because she doesn't have to deal with any guys in this one, but it does help her feel less tsundere-ish and jerkish for people who didn't like her bratty tsundere behavior. Or, I also like that they steered her issue more into her issue with inadequacy and being in a bad friend group rather than just herself with her father. Yeah, and also how she finds genuine healthy relationships in the literature club with Monica, Siri, and Yuri. Yeah, I really like that when Monica realizes that Natsuki's he's in a bad friend group, she's like that's probably something I should say for Monica's section, but like Like she feels really bad for her, how she needs to prove that group of friends wrong by letting this be the safe place for Natsuki and her interests. Yes, how she was frustrated herself for treating Natsuki basically the same way. And that's really nice. That's really sweet. Like in particular, her moments with Yuri and self-love. Love. This is why this whole relationship between these two characters and their interactions is why I love this side story the most out of all six or seven because it equals. But these are probably like my favorite moments in DDLC. Period. Like despite their differences, Natsuki's able to find a best friend in Yuri. She's patient with her. She allows her to do her own thing. Just and act like Monica or Siri, who is tend to be, like even Natsuki's kind of like Monica and Siri are nice, but they also tend to coddle me in some manner. But Yuri just listens and offers advice. Nice, and Natsuki really appreciates that, despite like their differences and the fact that they were kind of argumentative towards each other, or or and how Natsuki's able to confide in Yuri about her friend issues and how she's kind of realizing she's in a bit of a toxic friend group, and that she needs to distance herself from them, um, in order to just heal. Well, and then when she has an anxiety attack, like afterwards, Yuri helps calm her down and lets her know it's okay. Hey, it's really sweet. Hey, like I don't really ship Natsuri at all. I don't think it really makes sense. But I really like the idea of these two becoming great friends. It's really nice. Nice. I like seeing these two overcome their differences together. Or just knowing that they can rely on one another. It's nice. Nice. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I also, no, I'm not like Natsuki is my second favorite girl behind Siri, for all of these reasons, and also because I just find her a really interesting and great character. Her like to me, she's the most interesting character to write because of her personality and just how much room for interpretation. Sorry, I burped. And just how there's a lot of room for interpretation when it comes to her issues. Like, sure, I would have liked more clarification in the original game, but at the same time, that's also kind of a benefit for the fandom because there's so much room for to work with her or with her issues. That's probably why I wrote so much fan fiction about her specifically. He, like I like she was the main focus of Magenta Splashes and Magenta Affinity alongside Izuki. I had a lot of fun with that. I really liked exploring her character and her issues and her relationships with others. I really liked giving her that happy ending, with a happy husband, kids, its family. It's really sweet. I really like doing that. Uh, yeah, although I'm not exactly a fan of the fandoms like just making that see the small angry sailor mouth person. Like, sure, it is pretty funny at points, but it doesn't really work for me. I don't really like the ooh sad but sweet child thing either. Like, if they're delving to the father's abuse stuff, like it needs to be a good balance of both for Natsuki to be Natsuki. Like, this is just a typical thing in fandoms. Like, to take a character, notice a trait about them, just like let's just I, I dial that up to 111 in everything. And so, yeah, it just happens. So I only happened in love with the Sonic fandom back in the day, and probably still does now. So yeah. So I think I said all I needed to about Natsuki. That was quite a mouthful. Well, so next is Yuri. I should take a drink first. Miss Dandere herself. Yeah, I do like Yuri. She is a good character. She does rank number 3 on my Doki tier list. I do like her design. Big booba lady. Or bad posture. But I also do like her long purple hair. It's really nice. Purple is my favorite color. Or I do like her more mystical and mature vibe going on with her. I do like that she's more than just a shy bookworm. Or, like yeah, but like she can be a little pretentious about how certain things, like with Natsuki's poetry. Like I didn't list anything about the poetry in this game, but it's all really good and really helps hint to things to come and whatnot. Like Natsuki's simplistic poetry style, well, with well, how it's simple but hits hard, and how Yuri's is more, or or up to interpretation and mystical. Well, I do like that, and I like that she's a little pretentious and that kind of thinks she's a little better. Like not like she's not super arrogant or anything, but she does think think of certain things she does as better than the others because she feels it just makes her look more mature or whatnot. And Natsuki kind of gets angry with her about it. And they both kind of have to realize, oh wait, no, we're both kind of in the wrong. That's kind of why I don't like agreeing with either of them during the argument scene. Just go for Siri because first I don't agree with either of them because they're both being little shits. Yeah, and also that she's just so passionate about the things she's into that she can just be overbearing. You know, she just constantly has to pull herself back because she feels like if he he blow he set just as rattles on she'll just be seen as unlikable. And also like her issues with social anxiety and insecurity, and like it's kind of like Natsuki, but in, instead of like acting all confident and feisty, she's more withdrawn and quiet. It's like it's a different way of going about it. It's and I like that. And I also like that she doesn't want to be pitied. She just seems some freak or bad person, and she doesn't want to be treated as something lesser, or that she just needs special attention all the time. Mm. Yeah, and also like her more obsessive traits, which make her more of a yandere in Act 2 because of Monika's manipulation. And and like honestly, I think Act 2 Yuri is like the one thing about the game I find most scary or intimidating. Just like seeing this shy girl just grow more and more unhinged as the days go on. And I also like one of her expressions, like her creepy smile and stare. Here is every time I look at it, I just feel uncomfortable. I feel like she's just about to stab me in the throat. Oh, then she just fucking stabs herself. Watch her corpse the whole weekend. This, yeah, this really makes me uncomfortable. Well, like, I don't like yanderes, so like yandere like characters. Like, I don't get the thing for yanderes. Like, why would you like someone who's just a fucking creepy, scary, psycho who just obsessed with you to the point that she'll just kill anyone and anything just to have you? Like to me, that's not. It's not. I don't know. No, oh, I know, just different tastes and whatnot. I just don't get it. Like, honestly, Yuri's a character that I really relate to in many aspects. He's probably the character I relate to the most out of the girls. Girls, because of my high functioning autism, I tend to be overly passionate about my interests and ramble about them to whoever, such as in this very video you're watching right now. Now, and that's kind of turned some people off before. And that's just led to me becoming more reserved and less social. Well, like, sure, I can still talk to people when I'm comfortable, but it can be a struggle at points. And it's like, I totally get why some people headcanon Yuri is autistic. Like, like, maybe it's not the case, but I can totally see it. It's, and like, that's even more the case for side story Yuri, who I also heavily relate to, who, who like her talk with Monica in her story with Siri, and before she like goes in to talk to Siri after like she gets upset with her for trying to give her special treatments, and how she doesn't always feels like she has to hold herself back and everything. Just really eh, relatable to me. Yeah. eh, Like if I had the chance, I would ramble about just anything to anyone on but I have to hold myself back sometimes because not everyone wants to listen to me ramble about Blue Hedgehog for 40 hours. So yeah, and I also like that he manages to make good relationships with the other girls, especially Natsuki. I like that Siri helps her open up a little and just be comfortable with herself. And how she gets along well with Monica and everything. And I already talked about why I like her relationship with Natsuki. And I just really hate how much the fan base over sexualizes Yuri and just makes her a big yandere pervert. Her, like, sometimes just, like, again, it can be funny at points, but not only is it not what the character is, but it's also grown incredibly tiring by now. Like, you really can't make a joke about anything other than pens and shit. You really can't come up with anything original. Well, yeah, just beat that dead horse into the ground to the point that it's just a rotting fucking corpse. Yeah, I think I said all I need to about Yuri. Now for Monica. For real this time. Yeah, so why am I covering Monica first? Because I feel a lot has already been said about Monica, both from others and myself. And I have more to say about Siri as well. Oh, but what do I think of her? Well, I think she's a really interesting and good character. But she's definitely my least favorite of the four girls, and one I find really overrated. Like, don't get me wrong, don't hold anything against her for her actions in the game. Like, yeah, she did do a lot of terrible things, but once she realized she was in the wrong, she did try to make up for it. And considering her situation, it was kind of understandable why she would do all that she did. And, and yeah, sorry, my throat's just yeah, you know how it is. It's just hair on my keyboard. Like I don't hold anything against her for actions in the game. And yeah, she is basically the main antagonist of the game and also the poster girl. Well, like it's obvious without her, DDLC wouldn't be anything special. She kind of she has to be a part of it, and I appreciate her part in this. But well, I did talk about it in a DDLC hot take post that just summarizes all my thoughts on why I don't like Monk as much as the others. You know, like he is basically what I said. Without her epiphany, I feel Monk is pretty damn generic. She's just the standard hardworking high school girl who's pretty nice and knowledgeable, but can come off as insensitive and rude at points, and struggles to put her foot down when needed. And due to her not having a route, there's never opportunity to look deep into her personality, interests, struggles, etc. Like what I'm saying is that unlike the other three girls, there's not much of a chance for Monica to show more of what she's like. Like, like it, it's hard to describe. Like, yeah, that's the point of the game. You're not supposed to be able to talk to Monica, and she has to force the game to let her talk, talk. And it's not like there's no time to take in to show more of the kind of person she is. Like, there is her poems. Those are really nice, and does highlight her epiphany. And also throughout Act Two, there are moments where she shows more for herself. And then there's just all of Act Three where she reveals she's the one behind everything, and just have all these conversation topics, which are really great and really informative. I do love these conversations, but at the same time, I feel like I want to know more about Monica without the epiphany, like what kind of person she was, whatever goals and interests, what she struggles with, etc. Like I want to know what Monica is like as a person without all this fourth wall breaking stuff in the way. Hey, like that's Monica? What who is Monica? Uh, Like, if the only thing that makes her special is the fact that she can break the fourth wall, why should I care otherwise? Wise. Yeah. The yeah, a funny quote from like a meme quote from I think Jujutsu Kaisen that really works for this situation for me is like are you Monica because you can break the fourth wall, or can you break the fourth? Do you break the fourth wall because you're a Monica? Like it's kind of a silly way to describe it, but I think that kind of gets it's it's what I'm saying. And like yeah, the other girls are walking anime tropes and are self-aware, but since they do have routes, I have the chance to get to know them better as people. Like I can relate to their struggles, feelings, interests, etc. Monica doesn't really have that same luxury. I don't get any chance to know her as a regular person. Like I can't relate to being stuck in a crummy visual novel. At least I'm pretty sure I'm not in a visual novel. Mm. Or like I can't relate to that. Like I'm not saying she can't be relatable. Like it's hard to describe. Right? Like maybe I just prefer the other girls more, or but like like I also feel like Monica just being like your stereotypical sweet smart girl that you best you just spend time with her all the time. Perfect girlfriend, everything. I just yeah, it's kind of generic. Like yeah, maybe that's just kind of the points, but I just don't think it really works for me. Also, while not all Monicans are obnoxious, lonely bastards, like Monicans, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, a bunch of you guys are obnoxious, lonely bastards, need to roll around the grass field. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. You guys you're pretty fucked in the head, guys. You need to get some help. Jesus. Yes. I just feel like her famous could be really annoying at points, and that they only like Monica because she's supposedly in love with them, the player, even though she's 100% scripted to do that. And, like, not all Monicans are like that, obviously, but the loud minority is just, ugh. Like, I'm pretty sure if Monica wasn't self-aware, I'm sure she could be a lot less popular than she is. Like, she still have a fan base, but it'd be much smaller. Or like, guys, she's not a real person. She's just a scripted 2D anime PNG. Go outside. Right. Yeah, but that's pretty much how I feel about the original manga specifically. But I do love side story Monica. She's definitely my favorite between the two because she's feels like an actual person I can relate to. You know, and she has her moments where that shows what she's like, what her interests and morals are, what she struggles with, how she feels about her friends, what she's trying to do. Who, and I can relate to being perfectionistic, setting possible standards for myself, not being able to deal with conflict, and beating myself up when things don't go well. Well, like, I, for my writing, for instance, I want to make my stories the best they can be, and I get really annoyed when I feel I didn't accomplish that well. No, like with Sins of Our Fathers, for example, like how I did certain things in that story that didn't work writing wise. I felt like I should do something about it, which is what led to the best of me. And then I was like, no, I don't need to do this. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. And I do like how much Monica develops, like how she learns to be a better leader and friends with other girls. Like how when Siri confessed that she was depressed, as like she already learned about it from a poem. Then when they actually got to talk about it, she just gave her unconditional support, and I really love that. Yeah. I also like how she was kind of dismissive of Natsuki and Yuri's interests, and that kind of led to conflict. And then she's like, "No, I'm in the wrong. That was terrible of me. I don't think I can do this." Yes. But then she's like, I should try and make this the best club that it can be. Yeah. Then she like talks to Natsuki and everything about how her issues, and then she like plays a song for her, and it was really nice. Nice. I also like that she tries to like get everyone to be more accepting of each other's interests when seeing that Yuri gets annoyed with some of Natsuki's these jokes about her interests. Yes, and though it leads to a bit of conflict, it is good natured. Like she does beat herself up about it, but she does do her best, and then she helps Yuri with writing an apology letter. Or, or it's just really nice. I really like this Monica. Like if this was the one who went self-aware, I think much more highly of her. Like I'd really feel some sympathy for her. Like you go through all these relationships, like grow and develop this much with your club and these girls, and then you just realize that none of it matters because it's just part of some crummy visual novel. Well, and then you're just like, what do you do with that information? You just let it go on? What does it even matter anymore? Like that would be really interesting to see. I mean, and like, no, it's not. Side story manga and original manga are definitely separate worlds, as stated in DDLC Plus's secrets in mail and stuff. Uh, like, it is really interesting. I really like this Monica. So, okay, time for my number one favorite DDLC girl. This is the one I love the most, and that is Sayuri. I'm probably gonna ramble a lot here and mess something up, but I gotta keep going. Okay, so why do I love Siri so much? Is it just because I love Sim and Bun type characters? Well, that's definitely part of it. I do love characters like, for example, Yui Hirasawa from K-On! on on who is pretty similar to Siri in many aspects. I am gravitated towards the cutesy, lovable characters, but I feel there's more to it than that. Excuse me. Like first series design, I really love it. Like the coral pink hair that's really messy and uncombed, the red bow, the beautiful blue eyes, the open blazer, and the messy uniform really gives out that cheery best friend vibe. Like you see her and you're immediately like, yeah, that's just somebody and I feel I could, you know, hang out with, have a lot of fun with. But there's also hints to something more. And also like her casual outfit is cute. I forgot to mention Yuri's casual outfit too. It's really nice. I like the turtleneck sweater. And Monica doesn't have a casual outfit in the original game, but she does have that white dress in the Twitter account, which is nice. Anyway, like also her personality, like how cheery she is, her energy, her bubbliness, her kindness, her sweetness, how adorable she is. Just very charming. Just puts a big smile on my face. It's like every time I see her, I want to smile because she's just so nice and cute. She's so sweet and caring. And, and like she's constantly like she wants MC to join the club because she's worried he'll become a neat. And MC is unable to resist. And it's eventually like, yeah, I'll go ahead, and she's really happy about it. And then and she like has some fun antics with the other club members, like when she steals a bite of Natsuki's cookie, when she's talking to Monica about club preparations, and, and how she like gets angry with MC in her route when she finds him sleeping, and then he apologizes like, "Wait a minute, I'm not sorry at all. You shouldn't be napping here." It's just really fun character. Like if I could hug her, I absolutely would. But of course, much of that is a front for something darker. Or, or like on day 4, you see that she seems more down. It's kind of like, oh, what's wrong with her? Or she seems so bubbly before. What happened? And even the other characters are like, oh, that's kind of concerning. And then she just straight up leaves. Heck, in her route, she cries as during the poetry share, and she just immediately tries to play it off and just leaves. And then when you finally get to talk to her on Sunday, it just reveals that she has really bad depression her whole life. Now she just hates herself and like a burden to those around her and feels the need to be happy in order to give her little reason to be unhappy. She sometimes feels hurt when she tries to be happy. It really tugs at the heartstrings. Things I just want to do whatever I can to help her. Or, or I just it hurts to see such a happy, caring character actually reveal that she doesn't feel happy at all. Well, that she just hates herself. That sucks. Like, like this is probably gonna get more personal again. Like, well, I know, you know, trying to off myself is bad. Of course it is, and I am loved and important. Sometimes I can't help but feel like I could be doing more. Like I'm 21 years old now. How come I haven't started living on my own, be able to take care of myself? Why aren't I doing more for my family? How long do I have to change my life? Life. Like, I know I'm doing my best, even when it doesn't seem like it to me or others. Like, of course, I'm struggling with this kind of stuff. Like, it doesn't help that COVID happens during my junior year of high school, so that kind of messed up a bunch of stuff of that I probably would have done if not for that. Not to mention I have autism, which affects the way I think and handle stuff. And just I've it's tough. Uh, I know I'm already doing more than enough for my loved ones, and that I can always rely on them for anything. I know I just have to go at my own pace. I can't just rush things, but that doesn't mean I still can't think and feel this way. Hey, like, yeah, it'll pass eventually, but it's hard and scary to make a change when you're so used to something. Like, I've spent. Man, this is tough. Jeez. Like, I've always had my loved ones to rely on. Like my family, my mom, my sister, my grandma, my cousins, everyone. But I feel like I can't rely on them forever. Oh, gotta leave that bird's nest at some point. Or, like, I wouldn't mind being around them for longer, but I want I I have worry. I worry that maybe I'll just always he's sitting on my ass, constantly just wasting away or whatever. Like, sure, maybe that's just us me being paranoid or whatever, but I still can't help but feel that way sometimes. Like I should be doing more, or it's just yeah. I'm sure that's something Siri experienced as well. Oh, and I feel bad for her because of that. I want to tell her that she's important, that she's already doing enough, and that she just has to take things at her own pace. But at the same time, kind words don't always work. Sometimes you can't help but feel like a sack of garbage. You just have to deal with that. Just gotta get through each day and find the light at the end of the tunnel. Just how it is, and yeah, yeah. I can't believe I'm getting this sentimental in the fucking YouTube video. Yeah, and that's why I try not to get too serious most of the time because I don't like talking about this kind of stuff. I prefer to keep my as like thinking about this kind of stuff. I don't like. Like I just feel make me more depressed and sad, and I don't like feeling depressed and sad. And nobody does. As, as, but sometimes you just have to face it. Can't just run away from it forever. Just not think about it forever. Sometimes it just happens. I also want to talk about her series interactions with loved ones. They can be really fun, sweet, sad. And, and it's clear that the others care a lot about her, even when they get annoyed with her antics. Like especially Monica and MC. You know, like Monica keeps talking about how she's invaluable to the literature club. Like she's the one who can handle the more emotional issues. Monica can't like during the poem argument between Yuri and Natsuki. I mean, Monica can't is unable to do anything about it. Like she tries, but Natsuki and Yuri both shut her down. And Siri certainly tries to, but when MC points her out, now she's able to stop the argument, and and, and vice and same thing happens kind of in the side stories too. You where the same thing kind of happens, like when Mock is trying to help everyone better understand people to be more respectful of others' interests, as everything. Yeah, and how MC just it just feels that she's always been by his side. I that that she's always worrying about him too much and everything. Like, yeah, he can be a little sassy towards her and everything, but it's clear he cares about her. Like, no, he's not an asshole towards Siri. He's just normal for best friends to be kind of dicks towards each other. I know I certainly was with my friends, and, and yeah, but despite all of this, she just still feels like a burden, and like when I'm with family and friends, I can also be pretty amusing and nice to be around. I can also be really helpful with certain things. I'm sure they seem irreplaceable, but sometimes I feel like I should be doing more for them, especially since they do so much for me. Like for example, my mom. She's been helping me a lot with the Social Security and DSHS stuff, because I don't know a lot about this kind of stuff, and it honestly annoys me. You know, like this kind of stuff just annoys me. I just have little patience for it. And I really appreciate her for that. And I wish I could do more for her. It also doesn't help that I can be a little antisocial. I'm not the best at expressing my more intimate feelings. Like they know I care here, but I just hmm, yeah, it's just it's to talk about. Oh, it's yeah, and like Siri's relationship with MC is really sweet. I do love the childhood friends trope. Just seeing these two characters have been by each other's sides for so long, and then just finally sealing the deal, and being happy together for the rest of their lives. It's a sweet trope. I'm a sucker for it. And Siri and MC have really great interactions. It's like I mentioned earlier, yeah, MC can be a bit of a meanie, but again, it's natural to be kind of jerkish towards close friends. And it's because you both know you don't really mean it. And it's just messing around. And yes, I 100% ship hip MC and Siri together. Like the ship is cute, the art is cute. I just want to be happy. God damn it! It, and I just want Siri to be happy. Like the true canon in my mind is that they get married, have a wonderful family, live happily ever after. You can't change my mind. Fine, but I do need to talk about Siri's suicide. Right, and just like all of Sunday and how she just doesn't want MC to treat her any differently because of her depression, and and then like when Natsuki or Yuri are about to like have a moment with you, and she just sees it. I can just imagine she's like deep down, she's like really the fucking being, 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 being conflicted and everything. And how she just gets really upset, and then she just straight up says, "I love you so much, I want to die." Just, it just really hurts. And then you have to like choose if you love her or not. Like, like first of all, the my you'll always be my dearest friend option. No, that is not a terrible option. And and like you can't just love someone out of pity. You can't just lie to someone just because you feel bad for them. Um, yeah, it hurt. The truth hurts, but the truth is the truth. And I also find it really sweet when MC and Siri have that hug, and yet Siri still. It's like, why won't the rain clouds go away? Just really takes my heartstrings. Things. And then the next day, you just find out that she just killed herself. Oh, because maybe because of the confession, and MC just blames himself for it. Yeah. It it really sucks to see a character go out like that, especially since you can't do anything to change her fate. No matter what, she dies, and you just have to deal with it until Act 4. It sucks. Like, just, mm. Uh, like I would have liked to see how the characters would have reacted to Siri dying here. Like there are and stories that cover this. I once considered doing something like this myself, but yeah, I can just imagine how devastated everyone else would be knowing that she killed herself. Depression can really just tear anyone to shreds without you noticing. Like, it's gonna get personal again, but I did know someone who tried to kill themselves, but they did stop. They were stopped, and I didn't know until they told me in person. It was a shock to me. Like before this, I saw, heard some stuff from friends and whatnot. Then on Discord, I had to message them just like, is everything okay? And then one of my other friends then said you should talk to them, um, and they want to talk to me about something. And that's when they told me, and it was tough. Like they did get better. We did continue to be best friends, and it's all the way to high school. Like eventually we did drift apart, but that's to think I could have lost someone so important to me without realizing. That's a scary thought. But God, you never realize how much someone is suffering sometimes. Sometimes you drop the smallest hints, and yeah, so and sometimes I can really feel that emptiness and worthlessness. I don't know if I have depression or not. I think my mom does and might run the family. I'm not entirely sure about that. That's but that's I definitely can feel kind of blue at times. Like mainly during the holiday season. And I'd say like sometimes you just can't help but feel that way. But I know I can't just give up. Um, my loved ones wouldn't want me to give up. I sure as hell don't want to give up. I just have to keep going because that's what me and my loved ones want. And I want to see if there's something waiting for me at the end of the tunnel. Like something only for me and something that can change my life forever. That's what I feel everyone should keep going for, regardless of how hopeless it seems. Like, like it can be tough, especially in today's world and whatnot. But I don't think it's hopeless. This, this, you can, this, just keep going. For all you know, that moment may just be in next minute, day, hour, year, or I don't know. Just like, yeah, I suck at trying to describe this stuff. And all of this is why I love this character so much. Like, yeah, she's adorable and sweet, but she's also a really deep and compelling person that everyone can relate to. And while again, it can be funny at points, I don't like how the fandom babyfies her. It just makes her just super depressed and suicidal, like in the Rain Clouds mod. It just makes repetitive hanging jokes about her. Or like, I've never been a fan of the hanging jokes. I still think they're not funny and they're repetitive. Just, yeah. So yeah, I do want to say that I'm proud of how I handled Siri and DDMA. I think I did a really job with like making her the best mix of happy and sad. I do really like the future I gave her. And yeah, she didn't end up with yeah, like she didn't end up with it's kind of spoiler for Magenta Affinity, but she does confess her feelings for Maurice at one point, but ends up getting rejected. But she still finds a loving family of her own, and I really liked it. It was heartwarming to give her a happy ending. And, like it was really sweet seeing her have that special stolen by her side, even if it wasn't MC. Just seeing her live her best life. It's nice. Nice. And I do really love Side Story Siri too. Like, I don't think she's too different from her original self, but I do love that despite only knowing her for like a couple of days, she confides in Mock about her depression. She gave her unconditional support to her in return. And now she doesn't treat her any differently because of her depression. And I can't imagine how much she appreciates that. that. And also seeing her get comfort Yuri was sweet too. Like how she just like, yeah. And also like seeing her be more respectful of Natsuki's personal space was nice as well. Well, and she continues to be a great help to the literature club. And it's just really nice seeing her grow and with these people and everything. And also, like, some of her lines are pretty humorous as well. Like, I have the attention span of a donut. Nothing I want to respect. Yeah, so, yeah, I think I said everything I needed to about Sayuri. So, I want to get to the last part of what makes 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 this special. But I'm gonna split the stop. I'm gonna put it into a separate part. Yeah, so yeah, maybe I'll just immediately get to it once. I'm mainly splitting this up so that I have more room to breathe when I edit everything. So yeah. All right, back to part three. Yeah, so just a couple minutes after part two. So section eight. What makes DDLC special? Well, well, a bunch of people have already given their ideas on why DDLC is special. The meta elements, characters, portraying mental health, etc. But if I had to answer this question, aside from the the meta aspects are what drew people in. But I'd say the thing that makes DLC special is the characters themselves. To me, that's the one big thing everyone loves about this game. How they start off as tropey anime waifus only to show just how real and deep they are. Their issues, their struggles, how they suffer, and more. And that's what keeps drawing me back to DDLC, despite some stuff like no new content and whatnot. Like, I want to see Natsuki overcome her insecurities and become secure with herself and others. I want to see Yuri get better with social anxiety and make genuine bonds with others. I want to see Monica. I want to see Monica get past her reality crisis and accept that her friends are real. And I want to see Sarah be happy with both herself and with her loved ones. This is what makes DLC special to me, and why I keep coming back to it. That I want these characters to have their happy ending. And I want to see them develop more and whatnot, and interact. And it's kind of like Kaon or Poor Mia, where the characters are are the draw. That's what keeps you coming back. Though I have had some issues with a few things, and that's when we get to part seven, which is the burnout. Oh, like ever since DDLC Plus came out all the way back in 2021, there's been no official content aside from merch. And when there's no new content, the fandom tends to go kind of crazy. I've certainly gotten sick of it at points. It's like the drama, the reposted art, lots of NSFW art, shipping wars generates. It's just it's just irritating. Like, I'm not gonna say the fandom is dying or anything silly like that because I'm sure there'll still be fans of this game for years to come. But I can definitely tell things are stagnating in a few areas. Heck, I once thought about leaving the DDLC subreddit altogether because of this. I joined it initially because I wanted to interact with all the cool fan content and people who enjoyed this game as much as I did. now it's kind of a hot mess, and it's tempting to leave it all behind, like I kinda did with Undertale. Like, I still like Undertale, but I ended up kind of leaving that fandom because there's just similar reasons. It's also just kind of grew out of it, but that's for another time. And also, like, doing so much DDLC fanfiction kind of burnt me out too. Doesn't help, and it didn't help that I barely got any attention from it. Now, like, yeah, I mainly do this for myself, for fun, to make interesting stories. But if there's no engagement, there's little reason to keep going besides passion. And without the passion, what's the point? You're just wasting time. You're just doing something you feel nothing for. Or, and that ties into why I haven't done any new DLC fiction lately. There's just other things I want to do that are more rewarding. If I'm going to go back to that, I want to make it something special, make sure I have the passion needed to go through with it. So, if I lost my reason for being a part of the DDLC fandom, why am I still around? Well, that's because there's still some fan content worth seeing, like fan art. Or, and also, like, I forgot to mention this earlier, but there is this thing that's been worked on. Need to say put the link in the description. Also put the text here. There's this fan made DDLC comic where the girls and MC are part of a newspaper printing place and whatnot. And it's got an actual comic, and it's pretty cool and interesting. And that's the kind of stuff I'm here for. Or plus, at this point, browsing DDLC, Reddit, and stuff is just part of my daily routine. It'd be weird to change it now. No, it's still tempting to leave at points. Can't deny that. Now, let's get to the final part of this video. What does Doki Doki Literature Club mean to me? Well, it's about a lot of things in my eyes. Mental health, being there for others, fundamental agency, etc. It helped me better understand serious problems people have, how there's always hints for them in plain sight. It made me attached to really good fictional characters, which inspired me to make characters and stories of my own. Hell, DDLC is the whole reason I grew more interested in writing. Sure, I always enjoyed my English classes in school and whatnot, but this game led me down the road to my passion for writing. It made me want to tell interesting and entertaining stories for myself and others, and maybe even do it as an actual job. It helped me make a great friend and made me want to try poetry and more art and just share my ideas with the world and see what it has to say back. It's a very important part of my life, up there with the likes of Sonic the Hedgehog and Undertale. Without this game, I wouldn't be here rambling to you all about why I love it so much. I wouldn't have written Magenta Affinity. I probably wouldn't have even gotten into writing at all. Well, like, sure, maybe eventually I would, but maybe that just wouldn't happen this soon, if at all. Well, and I don't know how long I'll stay devoted to this game. Like, I don't know. But I think in 10 years' time, when I'm doing whatever I'm doing at that time, I'll look back on this game with great fondness. I won't forget the memories I made with it. It's getting the secret ending, right? Magenta Affinity, all that. That's all important. It's even if some of it I didn't like. So, to Dan Salvato, Satchley, Relinquent, and everyone else who worked in this game, thank you for making an unforgettable experience that helped change my life. And thank you all for watching this video. It really was a great time. I don't know if I'll do this for other franchises like Undertale or Sonic the Hedgehog. They definitely deserve similar treatment. And I have plenty to say about those too. We'll just have to see what the future holds. So, thanks for watching. I think that would be the end of it. Thank you.